Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi Shabbos Daf Kufyud. We're on the last word of Daf Kuftes. Says the Gemara, Ahu Bar Kasha. There was this mayor, this official, the Pumbedisa, the mayor of Pumbedisa was actually a Jewish fellow. The Tarke Chivya, a snake bit him. Now the Gemara told us there was an effective remedy, a cure for a snake bite, by taking the embryo of a white donkey, tearing it up, putting it on the snake bite. So they sought to procure this type of item for him to cure his wound. Says the Gemara, Hava Tleisar Chamri Chivrza B'Pumbedisa. There were actually 13 white donkeys in Pumbedisa. Some explain this is an exaggeration, but a large number of white donkeys available. Karina Lukulu. Now they tore them all up to get the embryo out. Vishtakhu Treifa. And they all turned out to be a treifa. The Gemara told us earlier that a precondition for this cure to be effective is only if the mother is not a treifa, doesn't have this critical blemish. So it turns out that all these donkeys were treifas and were unsuitable for this cure. There was one more Ba'ahu Gisa, on the other side of Pumbedisa, and they wanted to go obtain it for him. Adla Azli Maisil, until they got around to going and bringing it for him. Achla Arya, a lion ate it up. So now the cure, it's so close at hand, and due to unusual circumstances, it just became out of reach. As a result of that, Amulu Abaye. So Abaye told him, perhaps a rabbinic snake bit him, which doesn't have a cure. So perhaps he breached a rabbinic decree. He was over an Gzera D'Rabbanan, and as a result of that, he was bitten by a snake. And this bite does not have a cure. The Chsiv, as it says, a pirate's gather, one who breaches a fence, referring here to a fence erected by the Chachamim. Yishchenu Nachash, a snake should bite him. So perhaps that's what happened. That's why these unusual circumstances resulted in him the cure eluding him, and he wasn't able to have the remedy. So they told him, yes, in the Rebbe, yes, Rebbe. That's exactly what happened. The Chinoch Nafshe de Rav, when Rav passed away, Gaza Rabbi Yitzchak bar Bisna, Rabbi Yitzchak Bisna, enacted Gzera Delekod Limtaye Asa V'Gidmil Beilula. So he wanted there should be some diminishing of celebrations during the time of a wedding. So their custom was they used to lead the Chasam Kal through the market, through the streets with Asa is myrtle, Hadas, and Gidmi is the branches of a palm tree, together with instruments, with bells. So he was geyser that they should minimize the expression of celebration during that first year of mourning when Rav was nifter. So he said the lekad limitaye, that nobody should bring asa, as the myrtle, the hadas, the gidmi, and the palm branches, lebeilu, to the place of wedding. Betavla is the bells. So this was the gzera, and this fellow he didn't comply. V'azil iu, and this fellow went amti asavigidmi, brought the hadas and the palm branches obey lula to the wedding betavla with the bells. So he transgressed on this Gzera D'Rabbanan. Tarke chivyu meis, indeed a snake bit him, and as we learned, it resulted in his death. Umis, and he died. Let's take a look at Rashi inside, up on top of the Amid. Bar Kasha Memuna Lamelech, he was an officer. V'Yisrael Haya. Perhaps he was over on the Nidi of Chachamim, and a snake that bites him as a result of that, has no remedy. That's why they couldn't find a refuah for him. So this was Abaye's suggestion, and they responded, yes, right on. Yes, Rabbeinu, Kachaya, indeed, this was the circumstance. They should minimize these celebrations that year. Shouldn't bring the asa and the gidmi to the wedding betavla with the bells. This was their custom to bring these things. betupim, vezugim, with drums, with bells. Tavla is ishkalita, some type of bells, v'gozar. And Rabbi Yitzchak was geizer shaloi kashka shalfnei. They shouldn't ring the bells in front of them during that year of mourning. And he disregarded that, and as a result, he was punished severely. Now, interesting that Rabbi Yain explains why specifically when it comes to being Eivar and Xerid Rabbanan, does one incur such a severe punishment. It seems that this is specific to rabbinic decrees over and beyond even biblical decrees, even more chomer than Yisurim D'Oraisa, it seems. So he says an interesting point that when one transgresses on the Issa D'Oraisa, it's generally out of desire. He has a attraction to the Aver. There's something pulling him, a taiva, desire. Whereas when it comes to Issa D'Rabbanan, he says very often it's merely out of disregard. The Rabbanan, what authority do they have? It disregards their Yisurim, their Xeris. And indeed, doing that, it negates that portion of Torah, Torah Sheba'al Peh, and therefore it results in a very severe punishment, as we see here, and this is described in the Pasuk, U'piretz Geder Yishchenu Nachash. Continues the Gemara. So moving on with the topic of snakes. Haima de karche chivya. If this fellow was wrapped, a snake wrapped around him, now it's dangerous to kind of attack the snake directly. It can anger him, it can make it worse. So what is he meant to do? It says he should descend down into the water. And he should take a dikula basket, invert it, overturn it above the head of the snake. And as he goes down into the water, he should slowly get the snake off him, using this basket to have the snake climb onto the basket. And when the snake climbs onto the basket, he should toss it into the basket with the snake into the water. And the fellow should get out. Should get up, and come, get away from the area. Continues the Gemara, if this fellow, he sees that a snake is angry at him, is pursuing him, and running after him, and follows the scent of his tracks, so how could he shake loose of the snake? Says if he has a companion, a friend with him, he should ride on him arba gemidi for a distance of 4 ames, which will break up the scent, the track, and will break loose of the snake. Viloy, if he doesn't have that option, lishavar nagra, he should jump over a ditch of water. Viloy, and otherwise li'avar nahara, he should go over a river. Ubalelia, and at night, seems like at night he needs special protection so that the snake doesn't come back there. So what should he do? Lusve lepuria, he should place his bed. So under each one of the legs, he should place a barrel. He should place his bed arba chavita on 4 barrels, lift it off the ground, so that the Rashi says the snake shouldn't smell his scent, and shouldn't be able to get up. It shouldn't have an easy time climbing up there. It should make it difficult. He should sleep under the stars, as opposed to under a roof where the snake can climb up on the roof and jump down at him. V'laisi dalid shunri, he should bring 4 cats. Cats eat snakes, so he should bring 4 of them. V'lisinu ba'arba'a kare depurya, and he should tie them up, one on each one of the 4 legs of his bed. V'laisi shachvi, he should bring some branches, some reeds. V'lishti hasam, and toss it there on the floor, so that when the snake comes, it would make that rustling sound. The chishama kali. So when the cats hear the rustling sound, achle, they will eat them up. Continues the Gemara. Haiman de roit avasrei. One who has a snake running after him, pursuing him, lirit bechalsa, he should run into the sandy terrain where it's difficult for the snake to proceed and to follow him. Continues the Gemara. Hai itisa the chazi chivya. This woman sees a snake. Now we know the snake, the Nachash HaKadmoni, the first snake in the time of Adam and Chava. He represented the concept of Yetzer Hara. The Chazal tell us he actually detached with Chava. So we have the snake here, who this woman noticed. V'lo yada. Now she's not sure. Yoiv daite ilova. If the snake has actually set his mind on her to do tashmish, Eloi yoiv daite ilova, or whether he has not set his mind on her. So how can she determine? Says the Gemara, to shalach mana, she should remove her clothing with nishdaya kamei and toss it in front of him. And see, if he wraps himself in these clothing, daite ilua, and apparently he has set his mind on her. V'loi, but otherwise, loi, then apparently he has not set his mind on her for tashmish. V'loi loi, yoiv daite ilua. Maita kanta. Now, what is her remedy if indeed it is determined that he has set his mind on her for tashmish? Maita kanta. To shamish kadmei, she should tashmish with her husband in front of him. This will repulse her, make her repulsive in front of him. Igid amri, some say, koshken, the takif leyitzre. Don't do this, because certainly, of course, the takif leyitzre, this will actually increase his desire for her. Ella, rather, what should she do? Tishkol mimazio umitufra. She should take some of her hair and her nails, v'tishtebei, and toss it at the snake. V'tema, and she should announce the following chant. Rashi says it's a lachash, a chant. Dishtana ana. Dishtana stands for the words derech nashimli. The way of women, meaning I'm bleeding, I'm a nida now, and this is meant to be a chant to ward off the snake. Continues the Gemara. High itis of this woman, the ayel b'chivya, in which a snake has entered in her private area. Lifsa, they should spread her legs apart. V'lisvua atarti chavisa. They should sit her down on two barrels, one part of her on each barrel to spread her womb, open up her womb a bit. V'laisi bris her shmena. They should bring fatty meat, v'lish diagumri, and throw it onto coal so that it brings out a pleasant aroma. V'laisin, they should bring agna, a basket, the tachli of cress, v'chamra rechsana, and good smelling wine, v'lois v'hasam, and they should place them underneath her seat. V'litrukinu b'adiadadi, they should mix the wine with the cress together. V'linkud safsa b'yada, they should place a tongue, pliers in her hand. The chimerach recha, so that when the snake smells the pleasant aroma, nafik, he will come out v'asi and come. V'lishkalei, and then she should grab the snake with the tongs, v'liklai v'nura, and she should burn in the fire delay, because otherwise hadar ilava will come back on her. Continues the Gemara. The Mishnah gave us a rule: all types of foods or beverages which are generally eaten by healthy people as well, then a person may take these things even if his intention is for their therapeutic value. Says the Gemara, the term kol, all foods. What is the term kol coming to include? What is the Mishnah? What is the Tana coming to include? To include the following foods: spleen, which he is eating to benefit to cure his teeth; v'karshinin, a certain type of beans, vetch, to cure his intestines. So since these things are eaten by ordinary people as well, by healthy people as well, it's considered to be machal briim, and one can consume these things even if his intention is for the four. Now Rashi points out that the chiddush here is, because although these things have adverse side effects, for instance, the tchoil, which he's eating for his teeth, actually adversely affects his intestines. Likewise, the kashinim, which he's eating to benefit his intestines, have an adverse effect on his teeth. So although they have these negative side effects, perhaps this makes it obvious that he's doing it for food, because otherwise why would he allow himself these side effects? So the chiddush here is no, since these things are eaten by ordinary people as well, it does not obviously be done for food, and it's mutter. Continues the Gemara. The Mishnah said, kol hamashkin, all types of beverages which are drunk by healthy people, one may drink it even if it's for food. Now the term kol, l'suyimai, what is the Brisa coming to include? What is the Mishnah coming to include by stating it in a very general term kol? L'suyimai tzlofim b'chaim, to include caper juice, so the water in which capers were boiled in. So this caper juice b'chaimetz with vinegar. So this apparently has some sort of therapeutic value. Nevertheless, it is mutter since it is drunk by healthy people as well. Continues the Gemara. Amalei Ravina l'Rava. Ma ulishtes me'arglaim b'Shabbos. May one drink me'arglaim urine. Amalei Tanina, we learned. Kol hamashken shoyse. All types of beverages, which is something even ordinary people would drink. This type of thing a person may drink on Shabbos. Kol hamashken shoyse. Now, meraglaim doesn't fit that category. Meraglaim lo shasu inshi. No, ordinary people, healthy people don't drink it, and therefore one may not drink it. It is obviously being done for a four, and it's asur. So the Mishnah said all types of beverages are mutter chutz made the kolam. Tana, we have another version. Chutz made the karim. We learned in the Brisa, Chutz made the karim instead of the kalim with a lamed. It was actually spelled the karim, piercing waters. Man the Tana made the karim. The one who had the version made the karim. Why was it called this type of name? Shehem doikrim es amar, because they pierced the mara. Mara is the gallbladder. They pierced the excess bile present in one's gallbladder, and it heals them. So it's done for curing purposes. Uman the Omar made the kalim. The one that calls them made the kalim. The dekel is a palm tree. So how did it get that name? Sheyoitzim, because this water comes out, is issued forth from min shrei the kalim, from between two palm trees. My made the kalim. So what exactly? What are we speaking about? Which palm trees? Amarava bar baruna tarti teloi ikmarava. There are two types of there are two teloi, two trees. A certain species of teloi is a certain species of a palm tree. So two of these are the same type of palm trees. Ikmarava is found in Marava and Yisrael. V'nafka eno demayim benayu, and a spring of water is issued forth from between them, and this water carries curative powers. As the Gemara will explain, Kosa Kama, the first glass of this water, if one drinks it, Marpi loosens his system, his waste in his system, it loosens it a bit. Idach, he takes another glass, Mishalshal, it completely cleans him out. V'idach, now the third cup does an even better job. It completely cleans him out. As clean as the water goes in, that's how it goes out. So the system is completely cleaned out. So it has this therapeutic value. It helps a person clean out a system. I don't take that juice, that water. What do? I drink beer. Shechar de Bavloi, Babylonian beer. Umali minayu. It's actually more effective than that water. But provided that he's not used to drinking, it means he hasn't drunk this beer within the last 40 days. Only then does it have the proper effect. Continues the Gemara. Rav Yosef Amar, Zeisam Hamitzri. Rav Yosef is going back to the word made the karam, this piercing water. What is it? It's actually Zeisam Hamitzri, a certain type of Egyptian beer. Now, what kind of ingredients are used to make up this Zeisam Hamitzri? Says Rav Yosef as follows: Tilsa sari, a third barley, v'tilsa kurtumi, a third saffron, v'tilsa milcha, a third of it is salt. So this is one version of the recipe of Zeisam Mitzri. Another version is Rav Papa Amar, Tilsa chiti, actually a third is meant to be wheat and not barley. V'tilsa kurtumi, a third saffron, and v'tilsa milcha, a third is salt. V'simonach, and if you'd like to have a simon to remember that was Rav Yosef who actually provided the recipe which contained the sa'irim, the barley. Sisani describes a certain type of container where they place the dates, which contains, the word Sisani contains two samachs. So Rav Yosef, who has a samach in his name, he was the one who provided the recipe of the Zeisam Mitzri, which contained the sa'ari, which sounds like a samach. So that's a good way to remember Rav Yosef and sa'ari. So either way, he takes this Zeisam Mitzri. In order for it to be effective, he drinks it between Pesach and Shavuos. At that point in time of year, it is effective. And what does it do to a person? Sezimor has a double benefit. The comet, if a person's system is bound, is tight, marpile, it actually loosens it. Udurapi, a person has a loose system, cometle, it binds him, it ties him up. So it has a dual effect. Once again, the comet, a person has a bound up system, marfile, it loosens him up. Or durafi, a person has a loose system, cometle, it binds him up, it tightens things up, and inhales them in that manner. Continues the Gemara. The kois ikrin, the Mishnah told us that one may not drink either made the kolam and kois ikrin. So kois ikrin, Rashi explained, the Mishnah is some beverage made from, they crush some roots and some spices. Says the Gemara, my kois ikrin. What exactly is this kois ikrin comprised of? Amar Yechna, leisi maskal zuzah. They bring a zuz weight, an amount which weighs a zuz, of kuma Alexandria, of Alexandrian gum, sap, from a tree from Alexandria. So they bring the amount which weighs a zuz, a coin, umaskel zuzah, and a zuz weight of gavya gila, of alum, umaskel zuzah, and a zuz weight of kurkum marishka, the saffron which grows in the garden, and they go ahead and they should grind them all together, and this is what goes into this drink. Now, who do they give this to? Says the Gemara, lezava, to a woman who's a zava who has abnormal flow of blood. So in order to stem the flow, so they take tlasa b'chamra. They take these three ingredients, all three of them, the kuma, the gavia, and the kurkuma. So all three are necessary. B'chamra, and they mix it with wine, and they give it to her to drink. V'lo mi akra, and it doesn't make her sterile. Li'arkaina, however, to a person who is suffering from a condition of jaundice, train, they take two of three of these ingredients. Don't need all three. Two of those three. Bishichra, mix it with beer. Umei akar, actually has an effect. It actually sterilizes him, that he can no longer have children. Continues the Gemara. Let's go back to the zava. Lezava tlasa b'chamra. Take all three ingredients, mix it with wine. V'loimi akra, and does not have that effect on her. It doesn't make her sterile. V'loi. Now, if they don't have access to these ingredients, or as Rashi explained this, whenever it says v'loi, means perhaps it didn't work, it wasn't effective. So either way, if it wasn't effective, or they don't have access, they want to have another way of doing the same, having the same effect. So we have the Gemara is going to give us a bunch of other options, alternative options for the zava. V'loi, laisi tlasa kfizi shamchi par soy. So kfizi, Rashi says, a kfiza is a kli which contains three luk. So you bring three kfizi worth of shamchi par soy. Shamchi is are these onions. Shamchi par soy, these large Persian onions. V'nish like bechamra, so they bring these onions, they boil it in wine. V'nishkaya, and they give it to drink. V'neimala, and they should tell her, kum mizayvech, stop your flow. V'loi, otherwise, lo yisva pashas drachim, they should sit her down at the crossroads. V'lin ketakach kasa dechamra b'yada, they should hand her a kasa dechamra, a glass, a cup of wine in her hand, and have her hold that cup. V'laisi inish ma'choira, and a fellow should sneak up from behind her. V'livasa, and frighten her. V'leimala, and they'll tell her, kum mizayvich, stop your flow. V'loi, and otherwise, laisi buna is a fistful of the kamuna of kumin, ubuna, and a fistful the murika of saffron, ubuna, and a fistful this shavlilta of the fenugreek plant, v'nishlik b'chamra, and they should take these ingredients, boil them with wine, v'nishkaya, and give it to drink, v'neimala, and they should tell her, kum mizayvech, stop your flow, v'loi, and otherwise, laisi shitin, they should bring 60 shi'i didana, clay lids of a barrel, and they should soak in the water to soften these lids, v'lishvei, and they should use them to smear it on her. They should smear on her these lids. V'leimala, and they should tell her, kum mizayvech, stop your flow, stop bleeding. V'loi, an alternative approach to this again is laisi pashtina. They should bring some grass. Rashi says it's a grass, it doesn't grow straight up. Pashtina means it's mispashet. It spreads sideways over the ground. They should bring this form of grass. So this specific grass, v'lishloik b'chamra, and cook it, boil it in wine, v'lishvei, and they should take it and smear it on her, v'neimel, and tell her, kum mizayvech, stop your flow. V'loi, and otherwise, laisi charnuga, they should bring this type of asav, this type of grass, which grows near the hiksa ramisa. It grows near the hiksa is a thorn bush, ramisa, a certain type of thorn bush. V'likli, and they should burn it, v'lisva, and place the ashes. B'shachki, shachki is in rags, the kitna of flax. B'kaita, in the summer. So if it's in the summertime, they should use this type of material, which is cool in the summer. U'b'shachki, or in the rags, the amar gufna, made of cotton, besitva. In the winter, when they're warm. So these are two options here, and we assume that it means that she should hold on to these. She should hold on to the rag, and this will provide her a cure. Viloi, and otherwise, lichri sheva biri. They should dig 7 pits. Velikli buhu shabishta, and they should burn inside these pits shabishta, the vine branches, yalda de arla, young vine branches of a young vine within 3 years of its life, of its planting. V'linkata kasa de chamar biyada, and they should have her hold onto a glass of wine in her hand. V'lukma meha, and they should sit her down on the pit, and she get her up from one pit. V'lusvaha, and sit her down on the next pit. V'lukma meha, get her up from the next pit. V'lusvaha, and sit her down on the next pit. V'al chad v'chad, every time they get her standing up, they should say leima, they should tell her kul mizoivich, stand, stop your flow. V'loi, and otherwise, laisi smida, should bring fine flour. V'lischa, and they should smear her with this flour. Mipalga litatoi, on her lower half of her body. V'leima, they should tell her kul mizoivich, stop your flow. V'loi, and otherwise laisi bi asad namisa, they should bring a egg from a ostrich. V'likli, and they should burn it. V'lisba, and they should place the ashes b'shachki de kitna, and rags of flax bekaita in the summer, b'shachki de amar gufna, rags of cotton besitva in the winter time. V'loi, and otherwise, so this is obviously she's going to hold on to it, and somehow it's going to cure her situation. V'loi, otherwise liftach la chavisa de chamar lishma, they should open a barrel of wine lishma for her sake, meaning they should give her a lot of wine to drink. V'loi, and otherwise, linkit sa'arta, she should hold on to a barley, the mishtakchas bekefusa, that is found in the waist, the kudna chivra, of a white mule. So she should hold on to this barley. Now, if she holds on to it for 1 day, paska trei yaimi, she will stop bleeding for 2 days. V'nokta trei yaimi, if she holds on to it for 2 days, paska tlasa yaimi, the bleeding will stop for 3 days. If she holds on to it for 3 days, 3 days already chazaka, paska la'ilam, the bleeding will stop permanently. Continues the Gemara. Li'ar koina, we learned earlier that if one has a condition of jaundice, train b'shichra, he should take 2 of those 3 ingredients mentioned, mix it with beer, umi akar. Now it will have effect on him, will actually make him sterile. He won't be able to bear any more children. Says the Gemara, Viloi, another approach to this illness is as follows. Laisi reisha de shibuta, he should bring the head of a certain type of fish called shibuta de milcha, which was salted. V'lishlik b'shichra, and he should boil it with beer, v'lishti, and he should drink it. Viloi, and otherwise laisi, he should bring munini, the kamtzi, should bring brine of grasshoppers. Vileka munini de kamtzi, if he has no access to this type of substance, laisi munini de nekiri, he should bring brine of small birds, some type of small birds, and and they should bring him into a bathhouse so that he warms up. They should bring him in there, and they should smear him with this brine, so that he warms up and he perspires, and his sickness leaves him. If there's no bathhouse available, they should position him standing between the oven and the wall, which is it's a warm area, and they should apply this brine to his body, so that he warms up, and he will expel the disease from within him. One who wants to heat up this fellow to cure him, he should wrap him with his own sheet, or as Rashi says, with a sheet of another fellow who is suffering from the same ailment, and this will warm him up, heat him up, so that he perspires and he expels the sickness from within him. Says Rav Acha bar Yaakov Choshbe, he was experiencing this illness. Avali Rav Kahana applied this remedy of the using the sheet, the itzi, and indeed he was remedied, he was cured. Viloi, otherwise, what should we do? Laisi, tlasa kfizi. You should bring 3 kfizi. Once again, kfizi is that container which contains 3 lug. So 3 of these containerfuls of tamri parsaisa, Persian dates, utlasa kfizi, and 3 kfizi of the kira wax and ishtarufi, which overflowed from a beehive. Utlasa kfizi, and 3 kfizi fill of ahola toilana. Ahola means aloe, tulana, red aloe. V'lishlokinu b'shichra, and they should boil it with beer. V'lishti, and he should drink it. V'iloi, and otherwise what should he do? Laisi ila, he should bring an ila, as a foal bar chamra, the son of a donkey, meaning a young donkey. Rashi says, Ayer ben asoines, a foal, the son of female donkeys, meaning a young donkey. V'ligalach mitziasa dereisha. He should shave the middle of his head. V'lishpik leidama me'apuse, and he should extract some blood of the forehead of this young donkey. V'lus v'yareshe, and he should place it on the exposed portion of his head. V'lizaish, be careful that the blood doesn't trickle down to his eyes. V'lizar me'ene, should watch his eyes. That he doesn't blind them. I should not allow the blood to trickle down to his eyes. V'loi, otherwise what should he do? Laisi reisha debarcha, he should bring the head of a ram, the manach bekivsha, that was pickled. Rashi says either in vinegar or in brine. V'lish like b'shichra, should take it and boil it in beer. V'lishti, and he should drink it. V'iloi, otherwise, laisi davar acher, he should bring a davar acher, a pig, chutran, a speckled swine, v'likrei, and he should rip it, v'lois ve'alibi, and place it on his heart, and this will provide a cure. V'iloi, and otherwise, laisi karsi, he should bring leek, mikav tusa de mishri, from the middle of the row where it's going to be very sharp leek, and this will, if he eats it, this will provide a cure for him. Says in our story, how tired was this Arab, the Choshbe, who experienced this sickness. Amarlei leginoi. So he went over and he told the gardener, Shkol glimoi, take my garment as payment, v'havli, and give me mishra de kas, give me a row of the leek. Yavli, so the gardener took the cloak and Yavli gave him the leek, v'achla, and the Arab ate it. Now listen to this thief, this conniver. Amalei, so the Arab told the gardener, Ushlan glimech, can you just lend me the garment, the one that he had just given him? Just lend it to me. V'igni beikali, and I'll use it to rest, to sleep in it a bit. So what happened? Ichrech, he wrapped himself in the garment. Gonabe, and he slept in it, and he heated up, he sweated, and he exuded the heat of the illness. Kadichamem, when he got it so intensely heated up, V'kam, and he got up from his sleep. Nafal purta minei, the garment totally disintegrated. Nafal purta means a bit. It fell off piece by piece from him, and the garment was no longer in existence. Continues the Gemara. Li'arkaina, for his condition of jaundice. Train b'shichur, takes 2 of these ingredients with beer. Mei aker, and it causes them to become sterile. Says the Gemara, Mishar, is that allowed? Is one allowed to become sterile? V'atanya, haven't we learned in the Bryce? Menayin l'sirus ba'adam shu asar. From where do we know that castration, even by a person, is asar? Not only doing it to an animal, even doing it to a person is asar. Tamalim, we learned in a pasuk. Uba'artzachem loisasu, the pasuk here is describing castrating an animal. But why does the pasuk use the word uba'artzachem, in your land? This is not something that's connected to the land. It's not a mitzvah of karka, not something related to agriculture. So the Gemara learns a drasha that ba'artzachem, the last 2 letters, the suffix, the chaf and the mem, are coming to teach us that even to a human, we're not allowed to do sirus, castration, even to an adam. Uba'artzachem loisasu bochem. In you, loisasu, Rashi says we read it loi se'asu. So within the person, it's not allowed as well. One is not allowed to have castration done to him. Diber b'chanina. So how can a person take this remedy, which causes him to become a saris, become sterile? Says Mahani Mili. This is only specifically when he does a ma'aser act which is directly directed to the reproductive organs. He is harming them. He's ruining the organs themselves. Hacha, in our case, he's simply taking this drink. It's happening on its own. So therefore, since it's not a direct act on the on those organs, it's mutter. It's happening on its own. We have a right from Rabbi Yochanan's statement that indirectly it's mutter. Rabbi Yochanan said as follows: Haroitze, she is saris tarnagol. Haroitze, she is saris. A person wants to castrate tarnagol, a rooster. What should he do? Yitol karbaltoi. He should remove his crest. Umistaris meilov, and he will become sterile on his own. So we see that indirectly is mutter. Says the Gemara, but you're misinterpreting this statement. V'amar Rav Ashi. Didn't Rav Ashi explain to us that how does this come about? How does this effect happen? Because Ramas Rucha Hudanakitale, because the haughtiness has seized the rooster. When he has his crest, he appears distinguished, and when you remove it, he goes into a mourning state, a state of avelus, and therefore he doesn't cohabit. He refuses to cohabit and to produce. So it's not a physical phenomenon. It's not the fact that you remove the crest, you disable his reproductive system. It's simply a mood that results from this action. So therefore, he's not actually castrating the rooster at all. So that's what Rabbi Yochanan meant. But certainly, causing about sirus even in a direct way is asur. So how can this fellow in our Mishnah take this kishul ikrin, which will bring about sirus? Says where Ella, rather, we're speaking of bisaris, the person was already castrated and therefore is doing no harm and it's mutter. Says more, even in that case it's asur. Hakol moedim, all agree. So Rashi explains that this is referring to the machlekes by a bechor, a firstborn animal which is meant to be used as a carbon. One is not meant to make a mum, a blemish in the bechor. What if the bechor already is in a state of mum, he has a blemish? Can one add another mum? Machlekes. But the Gemara here tells us all agree that when it comes to two other topics, one cannot add even on a pre-existing condition. The first case is b'machametz, if one leavens a mincha, achar machametz, after, when another person has already made it chametz. Shu chayiv, the second fellow as well is chayiv. Shneimar, lo yisei oifa chametz, the mincha is not meant to be baked chametz, lo yisei asa chametz, it's not meant to be produced in a manner of chametz. So even though it's already chametz, the second person who shapes it, who goes and bakes it after it was already made chametz, he is doing an isser. Likewise, when it comes to serious castration, but masaris, achar masaris, one castrates after a person has already castrated. Shu chayiv, shneimar, it says in the pasuk, umoch v'chosus v'nosak v'koris. So this is referring to the damaging of the testicles of the beitzim. So moch means it was squeezed, v'chosus, it was crushed, v'nosak, it was detached. V'koris means it was cut, partially cut off. The question is, imal koris chayiv, even if on the testicles which were partially cut off, he's already chayiv. Al nosek al kashka, and certainly on fully detached, completely detached, certainly is chayiv. Why does the pasuk need to tell us detached after it already told us partially cutting off as well as chayiv? So what's the point of adding fully detached? Ella, the pasuk is teaching us lo havi, to include noisek acha koris shu chayiv. A person fully detaches after it was already partially cut, he is chayiv. So apparently, even after the castration already took place, he will be chayiv if he adds to it. So getting back to our Gemara, how can a person drink this kishul ikrin? This is an act which castrates somebody, even though he is already a saris. That's not allowed. Says more ve'ela bezakin. Rather, we're speaking about an older person who has no longer the ability to have children, and therefore there's no concern of him drinking the kishul ikrin. That's not considered to be masaris, achar masaris, and therefore it's okay. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan, hein, hechziruni lenarusi. Those remedies described in the Gemara and Gittin I took those remedies and they helped me. They restored me back to my days of youth with regard to tashmish, the ability to produce and to have more children. So you see that a state of zikna, a person who's a zaken, that's not irreversible. So how can you say that one can go ahead and drink this koshel ikrin? Even a zaken should not be allowed to do that, because in effect he's castrating himself and precluding the possibility of returning to the days of youth and producing more. Says more, Ella Beisha was speaking about a woman who has no obligation to have children, and therefore she can go ahead and drink this koshel ikrin and become sterile. Says the Gemara, according to Rabbi Yochanan Breka, who said, Al Shnei Moimer, the pasuk which instructs them to bear fruit and to multiply, it is said on both of them, on the man and the woman. Al Shnei Moimer, Vayiborach Oisim Elokim Hashem gave them a bracha, Vayimram, and told them, Prurabu, you meant to bear fruit and to multiply. So even an Isha has that obligation. Michael Amema. So according to this approach, what can be said here? How can the Isha go ahead and drink this koshel ikrin? Says the Biskena, we're speaking about an older woman who no longer can bear children, therefore there's no concern whatsoever. Inami, alternatively, Bakar, we're speaking about a barren woman whose productive system was defective from birth, and therefore there's no concern whatsoever. The Mepharshim speak out likewise by a man who's an akar, barren man, whose reproductive system has been defective from birth. He has no ability to have children, therefore there's no concern by him as well. Let's take a look at Rashi inside, starting from the top of the Amud up on top, with the words Hakol Moedim. Says Rashi, Hakol Moedim all agree, even though they disagreed when it comes to a B'chor She'achsei Dam, who's suffering an abundance of blood, some sort of medical condition. So there's a machlekes imakizin or imakizim, if they can let out some blood or not, because that is the havi matal mum v'amum, because that's considered to be putting a blemish on a balmum, because he's already in a condition of illness. It's considered to be a balmum. Can one go ahead and inflict a wound, a mum, onto a b'chor who's already a balmum? So there's a machlekes. And there's a mandam who allows to let blood blases by mum, to make a mum, since he already has a mum. Now all agree, even that mandamar, which allows by the b'chor, moedimim all agree, b'mechametz mincha, achar mechametz, if one processes, does chimutz, leavening on a mincha after a person has already leavened, made the mincha chametz, shekolas yeseh shel mincha, all the stages of the processing of the mincha, nesru b'chimutz, are also to be done with a mincha which is chametz. The chsiv, as it says, l'she'af chametz, l'she'af chametz. Says Rashi, the drush says as follows: Afil b'chlal hoisa. Why does the pasuk need to single out baking? It was included in the pasuk which says l'she'af chametz. Mincha not meant to be done, to be produced in a manner of chametz. Why does the pasuk single out baking? V'lama yotzas lahakish shelet, to connect to it. Ma'afil miyuchedes. Just as baking is unique, she'imasa, it is singled out, it is a maisa, v'chayav alev fnei atzma, and one is liable even for baking on its own. Likewise, any other maisa is chayiv even on its own. Meaning, hakol moedim all agree shem lasha harisha mechimutz. First person needed the mincha bechimutz, b'asheni ba'archa, and second person came and formed the mincha bechimutz, v'ashlishi ava, third one and baked it, kulan chayav. So that's by mincha. Likewise, when it comes to castration, even one who adds to a pre-existing castrated person or animal is chayiv. Koires, Rashi says, she'ein nitkin legamri. Koires means he didn't completely detach the beitzim, testicles, from their hold. Elachoitchan, rather he's simply cutting them between the kiss. They're still hanging somewhat in the sack. And the Gemara learns that even in the case where that has already taken place, if one adds to that, he's doing an aver. Says when El Bazakin Shapasak Mileda, he has stopped producing, and therefore, since he can no longer have children, feeding him this koshel ikrin is no concern. Says the Gemara, but that is the concern. Those remedies which are stated there, one who is not fully capable in the concept of tashmish and having children, La'achar zekanti, even after I grew old, those remedies restored me back to my original state, to my youth. L'tashmish, with regard to tashmish. Alma, apparently zaken ma'il, even an older person, has the ability to have children. Ella be'isha she'ena metzuva b'firivya. She has no obligation of pirivya. Kamin b'yivamis. Puravu umilus arts kivshua. The pasuk says, Puravu, fill the land, vikivshua, and conquer it. And the Gemara makes a drasha, and this only applies to man. Ish darkoi lichboish. A man is it's usual. It's common for a man. It is the derech of a man to conquer. Ve'ein darka shel isha lichboish. It's not the manner of a woman to conquer. So the pasuk which connects conquering with puravu is referring to specifically to a man, not a woman. But the Gemara says, according to Rabbi Breaker, who maintains that this obligation applies to a woman as well. What are we going to do? The Gemara concludes, speaking about an older woman or a barren woman. So conclusion. So who can drink this kais shel ikrin, this drink of sterility? An ish, certainly not, because one is not allowed to castrate an ish. We learn from the pasuk about chamlei sasu. What about a person who was already a saris? There as well, it's asur. One may not add procedure even to a person who's already been castrated. What about a zaken? There as well, the Gemara tells us it's asur because his condition can revert, as the story of Yochanan, who reverted back to his days of youth. Therefore, potentially speaking, he can still have children. Regarding an isha, we have a machlokes, and that depends on whether or not she has a mitzvah of bearing children. And the Gemara concludes, according to all shittas, a zikena, an elderly woman who no longer has the ability to bear children, certainly she may drink this kaishal ikrin. She won't revert back to her earlier state. The Farshas speak out. It takes a miracle to do that, as we find in the Chumash by Sarah. But naturally speaking, this won't happen. And likewise, an akar, a barren woman, or a barren man whose reproductive system has been defective from birth. So these fellows, by nature, don't have the capacity to bear children. Therefore, in their cases, it is fully permissible as mutter to drink the kais shel ikrin.